Come join us each week as we dive into topics about the joys and the struggles of motherhood. By no means are we experts. We're practically flying by the seat of our pants, or should I say, mom jeans. On this podcast, you will find a judgment-free zone where we discuss not only the best parts of being a mom, but the not-so-glamorous parts too. You can expect unfiltered, real mom talk, humor, grace, and a sense of sisterhood. What makes our podcast unique is that we understand there's no one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to being a mother. We're not going to pretend that we know everything too, because we definitely don't. We just want a place to share our stories with you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Mom Jeans, trying to fit into motherhood. Welcome back to another episode of Mom Jeans. It's been a minute. We're so happy to be back. We had a well-deserved, a well-needed break over July, and we did some really cool and exciting things, and we can't wait to share with you everything that's been going on with us. And so we're just going to kind of talk about what's new with us, what's new with our kids, and what we have been up to with our families over this past month. So thank you for joining in. So today we have myself, Danielle, Lisa, Leah, and Michaela. Welcome, ladies. How's everybody feeling?
Great.
Good to be back.
So excited to be back. I missed you
was
guys.
Nice,
yes.
But it is good to be back.
Yes.
I had to remember how to set up all my equipment.
Yeah, so did I. I had to go up and downstairs twice to get things that I kept forgetting.
Yes, same. Does everyone feel well rested? I would like to say yes, but I don't. No. Do we ever get rest as moms?
I don't think so.
I think maybe when your kids are like 30, you might. It's coming, you guys. Just wait.
It's coming. Oh, boy.
They say time goes fast.
Oh, boy.
Well, let's get started. Let's talk about what's new with us. Lisa, would you like to go first?
Sure. Yeah. So we have a lot going on. So Aubrey is starting a new daycare tomorrow, and she's going to be at the same school as Cece and Wes, and I'm super excited. I can't wait. I've been waiting for this. We found out, I can't even remember how long ago we found out, but it's been a while, 8 months, 6 months, something like that. So we're really excited to start there. I mean, both Michelle and Leah can't speak more highly of the teacher she's going to have. So we're just really excited about that. So that's good. And then Hannah is going back to the same spot that she was before, because they don't have a spot at Aubrey's daycare for Hannah. And then Hannah's daycare doesn't take kids until they're 1.5 years old. So we're going to be doing the separate daycare places, which we've been doing for a while anyway, but they're going to be on totally opposite sides of the town, which is a small town. So it's not that big of a deal. But so that's what's going on. It's been, we went to Europe for 2 weeks. We'll get to that at some point. And then both of their daycares were closed the next week. And then this week, they both go to daycare for 2 hours for 2 days. So it's been a lot of with my kids, which has actually been really good and a lot better than I thought it was going to go up. Granted, we've had a lot of help. So that does help a lot. So so that's kind of what's up and coming for us.
Nice. Anything new with you personally, or that you feel like sharing, or?
I am trying to think. I'm sure Brandon would love me to tell the world this, but he got a vasectomy. So we are officially not having any more kids. And that has actually been really, I was worried I was going to be really worried about that. I was worried we were going to regret that decision. But I feel really good about it, and I'm really excited. So yeah. I mean,
oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you feel good about it. And that's amazing. Did you get him a cake? Or I've seen those Instagram reels where they make all those funny candy.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Snipping jokes.
Somebody else asked me that too. And I was like, no.
Is it like the opposite of a push present?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
An anti-push.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They make all these like jokes about being snipped, and it's kind of funny.
like a
But that's
clip
awesome
cake or something
that
like
he went.
that.
Oh.
Maybe we're gonna have to look it up.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. I'm glad that, I like that men are willing to do that, because I feel like us women, we do a lot, and for them to do that small act, that's, it's awesome.
Yeah,
Just so
it's funny because
we can have a peace of mind.
yeah, because I had the scheduled C-section with Aubrey, and they were at that time asked me if I wanted to tie my tubes while we were doing it, and I was like, I'm not prepared to make that decision in 3 minutes, so no. And Brandon has always been awesome about it, and like, yeah, I'll take care of it. So that's been really nice, because I also really want to try and stay off of birth control for, ever if I can, but we'll see how that goes.
Nice. Leah, how about you? Anything new going on with you and you guys?
Well, I'm probably the opposite of you guys, because you guys all took the month to have fun, and this was like the craziest month of our year, in regards to my husband's work schedule. So, no family time, no trips. Me and Wes for pretty much the entire month, with the exception of like 1 or 2 days that Stephen was able to help out. So my month was not very exciting. Wesson got really sick 2.5 weeks ago, got sent home from school with 103 fever. And then within less than 36 hours, he was actually going into hypothermia. And so we ended up in the emergency room, because they didn't know what was going on with him. The pediatrician was like, I'm really nervous. I'm really uncomfortable. I don't know what's wrong with him. I'm really concerned. I was like, oh, awesome. She's like, I don't know what else to do other than to send you guys to the emergency room if he gets worse. And he did continue to get worse. So Stephen fortunately was able to leave work for that and come be at the hospital with us, which was great. And they think that the hypothermia was caused by dehydration, which I didn't know that was a thing. But he hadn't drank much water. He had hardly eaten anything. They said he had some sort of virus. You know how that answer goes. But he got better. We're good. We're back in action, and finally going back to school tomorrow after almost 3 weeks, I think. So been
Jeez,
trying to
Leah.
manage work and Wesson home from school for the last couple of weeks has been exhausting. So that's okay. It's part of life. We're here. But I told Steven the other night, I was like, we need to get a trip booked. We need to get airplane tickets to go somewhere at this point. Like, I need to know what's coming up next, because right now we don't have anything on the calendar, and I'm anxiously awaiting that time.
Yes, get it on the calendar. I hear that when you have a trip planned, even if it's months away, it like helps with stress, like had to be looking forward to something. So
Yeah,
I'm sorry that you had to go through that. That's so scary.
It was, especially with the pediatrician's reaction. And she knows Wes really well, and so I was like, okay, well, like I take what you have to say seriously. And it was just really unusual. One of the nurses, or a nurse that we know after the fact, told us that when their body temperature sways that much in that short period of time, they worry about the kid having seizures. Really glad nobody told us that at the time, and we didn't know that until a couple days later. But he didn't have a seizure. He, a couple days later, was fine, but it wasn't exactly how I choose to spend my Friday nights. But glad he's back on track. So
yes, me too. Well, anything else to add?
I will say, actually, I did start focusing finally after a very long time. Finally, restarted focusing on my my personal health and well-being. And so I started running again, which is a lot harder than I was expecting it to be. But, you got to start somewhere all over again. So I started doing that, which has been really nice. And just like kind of being mostly more mindful with my food choices, except for today when I ate an entire full-size bag of chips.
Lucky.
It happens. It happens.
I had a snack accident.
I love that.
I was like, oh, Steven's going to come home and see this bag of chips and think that I bought chips and there's going to be nothing in them. So sorry, dude. But yeah, so I've been doing that, which has been really nice. And I've seen some changes in my body, which has been rewarding and fulfilling. So keep doing that and that'll be great. But I think it was one of those things where it was like, I knew that I was going to have such a hard month that I had to get out of bed an hour earlier so that I could focus on doing something that would make my mental well-being a little bit better. So
good for you.
But
yes, that's amazing.
Caveat to that, I started working out and apparently and eating healthier and messed with my hormones in a good way. And my period was late for the first time in ever. And I spent 2 days totally freaking out, totally terrified. I think we're good. I think Wes is our kid, and this was like definitely solidifying it for me. But I took a pregnancy test one morning, and it didn't work.
Oh no!
I've taken probably hundreds of pregnancy tests in my life, and I've never had one that just doesn't come up with an answer. And so I was like, oh my God.
Sorry, try again. Like an 8-ball.
I was like, oh my God, what does this mean? Oh my God, what does this mean? Is this a sign? Is this a sign? Oh my God, I can't do it. I'm not ready to be pregnant. I don't want this. Freaking out. And then I didn't have time to go get another pregnancy test that day. So I couldn't take another one. And I was suffering in silence because I didn't want to tell Steven, because I was like, oh, Steven, I don't know how Steven would react if I told him that we were pregnant. So I was suffering in silence aside from telling Lisa. and then the next day I got my period. But I was like, I'm never late. I'm very consistent. And I was just like, it has to be the working out. It has to be like taking care of myself in a good way.
Shock the system a little bit.
Total shock to the system. I mean, I'm like all in or all out. So like if I'm working out, I'm eating healthy, I'm doing all of it at once. But if I like have a chip, then I am completely off the bandwagon. So yeah, there's
well, you just have to remember that one salad isn't going to make you skinny, just like one whole bag of chips isn't going to like undo everything. So it's just consistency and everything in moderation, right? So don't beat yourself up for the bag of chips. Just know that you're going to get to it like tomorrow. So
I'm with you, Leah. I'm in the
I don't
same
eat
boat.
salad anyways.
I'm in the same boat as you, Leah. Like, if I am bad, I am bad all day long. If I am good, I'm good, and I'm a lot more bad than good for sure. Oh, that's a bad reaction. What is it?
It's my water, and I just cleaned it, and it tastes horrible.
Oh, whose stomach was that?
Oh no, that was my stomach.
I thought that was Leah's water bottle.
No, it was like. Listen, now, speaking of water and things tasting bad, I have to be careful because Weston likes to start putting food down his water cup, and apparently mine too. I sucked up one of those crispy, like organic coconut straws up mine because he put a half chewed one down my straw. I'm like, that is disgusting. Thanks a lot, Weston.
Weston was eating one of those coconut straws tonight. And Trigger, our not big dog, but medium, small dog, whatever, bigger of our two dogs, went over and straight up bit it out of his mouth.
Oh no.
Just like went and grabbed the other end of the coconut straw. And Weston just starts crying because he's like, Mom, what just happened? Where did my snack go?
Well, my son thinks he's a dog. I looked over and he had his whole face in Zoe's bowl while she was eating. So luckily she's not food aggressive. And I'm like, this is great. And he tries to drink out of the water bowl too. So yeah, it's been really fun. And we can get to that later. Yes. Yeah, he's going to grow up. Just, I don't know.
He's going to have a strong immune system.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Michaela, how about you? What's new with you?
You know what? As Leah was talking about her month not being very vacation-y and really just busy, I actually was looking at my pictures on my phone to try and remember what I did last month. And I too was just extremely busy. We didn't really do much. We spent a lot of time outside, out in the woods, because it's been beautiful. We had fire restrictions for most of the month of July, so we didn't go camping, but still did plenty of just drives out in the woods and hikes and whatnot, just to still get outside. And then the monsoons rolled in, and it's been awesome. We've had rain almost every single day for like the last 2 weeks, and I just absolutely love it. So there's also a 2-week period in the middle of July where Lisa was gone. Lisa and her family were gone. 2 of our other friends were gone. And it was, a few weeks before Michelle is due. And so between Michelle and Ryan and our house, we had, how many dogs? 6 dogs. So we had Leah and our other friend Kristen that were on backup to help sparse out the dogs in case Michelle went into labor. But fortunately, we were all fine with the way it panned out. But yeah, it was just a busy month. I taught a lot of workout classes. It's summertime, so everybody else was taking vacation, so I was helping sub a lot of classes and stayed busy and sore from that, which was great. But I'm looking forward to starting my travels again at the end of this month. So I still got a couple more weeks of just being home, which will be really nice. And then I'll catch some trips at the end of summer here. But yeah, it's been good.
Nice. We also went to Redding. We saw each other in California for a family reunion. I don't think we've talked since then. I mean, we have talked, but not like on the podcast. But yeah, we did a really cool hike where we crossed the river or creek. It was like freezing, and we found this waterfall. It literally looked like the mountains were just crying, like, because it was just water falling out of the mountain everywhere. It was pretty cool. So that was cool to hang out with you guys and see you.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Chasing Weston all over the place.
Yeah, it's so great. When I'm with family, I'm like checked out. I'm like sitting in the chair watching everyone else chase them. I'm like, this is great, because he's like literally running. And then, so you got your trip all planned for Europe, for Germany and all the cool places.
Yep. So my husband and I are finally going on our honeymoon 3 years late. So we're excited to do that later this year. And I think we've got it like 90% booked. All the flights are booked. All the lodging is booked. The rental car is reserved. So we just need to figure out our itinerary now, but really excited about that.
That's awesome. I'm so excited for y'all. I'm a little jealous, but no, it's going to be great.
We're just going to go find all the cool places to go back to together.
Yes.
It's just scouting. Cool. Think about it that way. Vacation scouting.
Okay. Yeah. You can tell me all about it, like where to go, or we'll all go together. That'd be great. All right. Well, I guess that leaves me. What is new with me? Well, or us, Weston, I guess it was last week. We were playing at the playground. He was just having a day where he was kind of fussy, and I was just tired and did not want to cook. And Ryan came home. I'm like, can you cook something? I'll take him to the playground. We went over to the playground, and he loves like climbing and just running around and swinging and all the things. And so I asked if he wanted to go down the slide, and he's like, no. And then we needed to head back to the house anyways. And so I was like, the quickest way is the slide. So I sat him on my lap, and his leg caught, back and I heard a pop and he was crying instantly. And so I had to like run him back to the house and was really worried about him. He stopped crying in 5 minutes, but he couldn't walk on it. He couldn't bear any weight on it. And so I was like, oh, great. Like I've either sprained something or broke something. And so that was obviously pretty frustrating, or just it made me really upset that I had caused this issue. And so the next day, but he like ate fine. He took a bath. He went to sleep and slept all through the night. So I was hoping the next day he'd be better, but he still wasn't able to bear any weight on it. So we ended up going to urgent care the next morning. They took x-rays, but I got conflicting information. The radiologist said he didn't see anything, and then 2 providers said they did see something on the fibula and tibia, and they thought it was broken or fractured, not broken. But so they put him in a splint, and I was like, I'll try to keep him from bearing weight, but I know my son, he just has to be moving. So really quickly, he was rolling, crawling, and then by Monday, what did he do? He was already walking on his splint. So yesterday we had to take him to the orthopedics, and that doctor's like, I don't see anything, so you can just take the splint off. And so it's been crazy, and he's limping around kind of like a peg leg, but he's still moving. So I don't know if anything's actually broken or it just hurts. And so he's been really fussy the past weekend. So it's just that was kind of really stressful for me. So because I'm not sure like if it hurts, or he's also teething. More molars are coming in. So that's kind of been our past week. I guess what's new. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think what else.
How is he doing today, Danielle? Is he doing a little bit better? Does he seem to be less peg leggy, or is it about the same?
Yeah, it's toward the end of the day. He's limping a lot more. So I think it does bother him, and he's kind of been whiny all day. So I don't know if it's his teeth or his leg. So we've just kind of had a rough week, I think. But before that, we were doing all sorts of stuff. We were going on play dates. I've been hanging out with mom friends. I've went on a couple like girls' nights out to eat and things like that. So that's been really cool. Something else new with me. I debated on whether like telling you guys this, or at least on the podcast, but just knowing like what our podcast is about, I wanted to stay true to that, of like being vulnerable and saying the hard things. So this happened on the 1st. Weston's leg. What else happened on the 1st was Ryan hit the retirement button, which is awesome. So he has a year to retire. He finished college, and I took a pregnancy test, and it was positive. But yeah. But so yesterday I woke up and I was bleeding and clots. Yeah. So I had a chemical pregnancy, or a miscarriage. So I cried really hard yesterday.
Yeah.
And but I feel a little better today, just knowing like I know it was really early, and it definitely sucks no matter what, but I guess the positive I'm trying to take from this is that we can get pregnant without like a medicated cycle, because I have not decided to do that, and I felt like the last month we weren't really trying. I was just like not taking the tests, and I just needed a break because I've been really feeling like stressed and overwhelmed and about it. And yeah, so I was pregnant. I went in yesterday. They took my blood HCG levels, and it was really low. So they were pretty sure that it was going down. And I go tomorrow to take a test again, just to see like where the levels are. And I was trying to keep like my hopes up, but I bled a lot of clotting. So I just don't think that it'll be the outcome that I want. And then I shouldn't have, but I took another test today just to see, and it did not come up positive, but it came up positive yesterday. So it's just been a really rough week, but I just wanted to share that because I just know that there's other people out there that go through the same thing, and you know, people don't talk about it, and so it's just, I want to be that person that tells you that I don't know.
We appreciate that. That's very brave of you.
We go through hard things.
That's very brave of you.
So
I'm sorry, Danielle.
Thanks. It's okay.
I do think
okay.
that's...
Go ahead.
But I was just going to say that is awesome that you're taking the positive of it. Of you didn't have to do a medical cycle, so that's great. Hopefully that continues. Yeah. I think that's a good way to look at it, but still okay to be upset and sad, and
yeah,
it's sad for you. Yeah. I'm bummed.
Thanks. I mean, yeah, me too. I cried really hard, and then you should never give yourself a time limit to grieve or to be sad. But yesterday I was like, I'm going to feel all the feels today. I'm going to cry as much as I want. I was like, but tomorrow I was like, I have to, because I've got to be there, you know, for Weston, for Ryan. Like, I can't just let it hold me back. And I am grateful that it was sooner than later. I'm hoping it was just my body being like, maybe something wasn't right and just needed to, you know. That's the sad part. It's hard. There's something I was going to add to that. Oh, I just want, if anyone's listening, like, don't think that you have to go through something like this alone. I did reach out to a friend yesterday and kind of told her what was going on. Also because she's a nurse, and she like texted me right back. She actually showed up at the orthopedics when I had Weston in, and she had like a smoothie for me because I already had my morning coffee. And just waiting, and she just sat with me and like just chatted and, you know, hung out with Weston and just kind of like definitely made me feel better. And she was just there for me, just there to listen. And so, you know, it's okay to tell people, it's okay to talk about it. And even if maybe if someone hasn't been through the same situation, they're like, your friends will be there, your family will be there to listen. So, or just to be with you. But yeah. So that's what's new with me. So, sorry. I don't know. I feel like that was really long-winded, and I'm shaking because...
Well, thanks for telling us.
Yeah. Sorry, it's not the best news. So.
No.
But I know more tomorrow. I'm ready just to like have it confirmed, and then so I can start moving forward with that.
You don't have to answer this, and we can cut this out if you don't want to, but do you mind me asking what your ACG levels were?
18. Oh, okay. Very low. Yeah.
What is that? Oh, HCG. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you said ACG. I was like, oh, you're throwing something new at me.
Yeah. So very, very low.
What's the number range? Like, how does that? What's it supposed to be?
Well, I think if you Google it, when I looked at 4 weeks, it was like anywhere from 5 to maybe 400, and then 5 weeks was like 10 to like 8. I don't know. This isn't exact, but you can look up the numbers. And so higher obviously is a more like stronger pregnancy. So
my IVF doctor wanted ours to be over 50 for our first blood test.
Yeah. But anyways, the unfortunate part is I didn't let myself get excited because maybe I was worried, but I did the same thing with Weston. I didn't let myself get excited. Like, I was guarding my heart, but I will tell you that me guarding my heart did not help the hurt yesterday any better. It didn't lighten that. So I wish I just let myself be excited about it for that like week of
That's a really good point, though, because like it is something that I think a lot of us do naturally, is like try to protect our heart and not, you know, be emotional one way or the other. But it doesn't negate the pain of the reality when it does like if something does happen like that. So
yeah,
I think that's a really good perspective, right? Like you should, like, let yourself be excited about things.
Yeah.
That's a lesson for me. It's a good perspective, Danielle.
Well, thank you. Yeah. But like I said, the best takeaway from this is, but now I know we can get pregnant. We can do it without a medicated cycle, and I hope. And I'm not against medicated cycle.
They're hard.
I just hate, like, yeah. Yeah. And I mean, they cost money too every time you do it. So, but I am a believer and have faith that things will happen how they're supposed to be, and there's a plan for us, and this just wasn't it at this moment in our life. All right, moving on.
Well, before we move on, Danielle, I was just going to say, I know we're not close by physically, but we're here. So appreciate you sharing your story and being brave to say the hard things, and share that beyond just, this recording session right now. Yeah, I know it's hard, but we're here. We support you, and whatever is meant to be will be. I know that's such a cliche saying, but I really do feel like sometimes that's all you can lean on to help get you through things. So
yeah.
You seem to have a pretty good attitude about it, despite being hurt, which is all warranted. But yeah, you've got your village near and far, so just know that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Sorry. I appreciate that. I love you guys.
We're here.
We love you too.
Thank you. Last thing I will say about that, and then we're going to move on and talk about some more positive things in our lives. I will say Ryan, my husband, was really awesome. Like yesterday, he left work early just to kind of be here. And he's like, I'll give you as much hugs as you want, or if you don't want a hug, just let me know. But he was just a nice shoulder to cry on. And I did ask how he felt, and he said, I know it's different for me than it is you. I'm more worried about you and how you're feeling. And I just want to be here for you. I know it's different. And he was there to watch Weston and kind of let me, because I was really tired yesterday. I had a lot of cramps. Just didn't feel the best yesterday, but I'm feeling better today. So I appreciate him, and just being there in that moment. But all right. So next we're going to talk about what's kind of new with our kids, maybe some new milestones, some fun things that they're doing. So yeah, I'm excited to hear. It's been a minute since I've talked to you guys. So, all right, Lisa, how are your girls doing?
Good. Hannah's vocabulary is just going off the charts. It's crazy, like putting sentences together, and really, it's been really fun. It's also really hard because she is getting super sassy, and and then like she says something super sassy and you just want to laugh because it's funny, but it's also like, no, you can't say that, don't say that. So yeah, so she's going crazy. And like now, since she's in the Montessori system, she's the oldest of her classmates, and so it's like kind of fun to watch her try to like coach up the younger kids and help out with that. But she's really ready to go back up with her boyfriend, who just got bumped up to primary. And we are, I feel bad saying this because I know a lot of people will say this is bad parenting, but we're like, Han, if you learn to go potty on the potty, you can go to Oliver's class. And she out of the blue will be like laying in bed reading stories or something. She goes, Hannah, go potty on potty, Oliver's class, right? And I was like, yeah, that's right. And so today she was like trying so hard to like go potty on the potty as much as possible. And the one time she didn't, she was like, I want to go to Oliver's class. And I was like, oh, I feel so bad. Like, that's really sad. Like, it's okay to have an accident. Like, it was only one. That's really good for you, like, oh, but she doesn't get it. So yeah, so that's been crazy. And like, I also attempted very poorly to explain death to her because we're going to her Brandon's grandpa's memorial in a couple of weeks. and she has a picture with great grandpa Bob. And I keep saying, we're going to go say goodbye to great grandpa Bob in Atlanta. And she's like, why say bye? Like, I don't understand, she can't comprehend it. And I'm like, she said, okay, I'll give him a hug. And I was like, yeah, like I didn't explain that very well. That's really hard to say. So I'm like worried she's going to, and everybody's like fine with it. Obviously he was 90 when he died. And, but like, I can't wait for her to go around and ask my mother-in-law where her dad is, like that's just, it's very sweet, her trying to grasp it. And I like that a lot. So it's like weird seeing her become like a full blown, like she's not like, she's like graduating out of toddlerhood, and it's weird, right? It's weird seeing like her be a girl. So yeah. So.
I was shocked when we went to the park earlier in the week and she was having conversations. I was like,
Yes.
When did this happen?
I thought the same thing this weekend at the pool.
Yeah.
I got there and she said,
crazy.
I'm going to get out and stand by you or something like that. And I was like, wait, huh? That was a full sentence.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. And we were also in Italy. We went to Scotland and then Italy, and the Airbnb that we stayed at had a pool, and we were in the pool like 4 hours every day. Her swimming got so good while we were there, and it was really fun to see. And then we got into the pool like this weekend with Michaela, and she regressed, and that's fine. Obviously it's fine, but it's amazing to see how much repetition like really helps them to do things. So like, I know a lot of people like to talk to kids that are her age like they're kids, and I try really hard to like talk to her like she's an adult, because then she starts to pick up on that, and she like converses really well. It's hard to understand her like I can understand her, but it's been really fun. And yeah, so that's Hannah. And then Aubrey is just turned 9 months, and in the last couple of days she's like, it's so funny, she knows she's mad, and she stares you in the eye, and she gives this god awful face of like, I am so angry, and then just wails. And I think part of it is because Hannah screams a lot, and when Hannah's mad, she just screams as loud as she can, and it's like blood curdling. Somebody's thinking she's getting kidnapped for sure. And I think Aubrey thinks that's what you're supposed to do. So Aubrey just does that all the time. And you're like, geez, girl, like how does a 9-month-old have that loud of a voice? It's crazy. But she's getting really close to crawling. And she's really frustrated that she can't crawl. So it's like hard because we're trying to help her figure it out. But she's also like, I don't get it. Like when you, in your mind, you're like, I know I'm close to that math problem answer, but I'm just not getting it. And that's where she's at. And it's like, it's funny because she still finds every way to get to where she wants to. Like she can pivot, and she can, move around in a 360, and then she just rolls. It's really entertaining to watch like how mobile and ways that she can get there. So yeah, Hannah never did that. Like Hannah, they're just different kids, which obviously you don't need to compare them, but it's really fun to see the differences. And she's very resourceful in that way. So, and we obviously are doing solids, and she loves food. If she could, she would get rid of milk for sure. Like she's barely taking formula right now from us. And we're like, all right, let's just give her more solids. I know you need this milk, but we're going to give you a ton of solids to load you up, and then get the milk in the middle. So it's a lot. There's been a lot going on, it feels like, in a month. So that's what's going on with our kids.
What's her favorite solid food?
Oh man, I think it's because we have strawberries in the house a lot. She eats a lot of strawberries. She loves strawberries. But really, there's not terribly much she's refused to eat with us right now. So that's been really good. I mean, yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's how Weston was. Now he picked out his peas from his chicken pot pie today, and that's all he ate.
Oh, boy knows what he wants.
That's really funny.
Yeah, but it's crazy to hear, like, you say that she's 9 months old, because my brain's like, we just started the podcast and she was like 3 months old. So that's wild how time flies.
It really does.
It's exciting.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Lisa, when Wes was not crawling yet, but trying to get from point A to point B, he would log roll across the house and across the classroom.
Yeah, same.
Which it was hilarious, and he got really fast at it.
Yes.
I thought for a while I was like, is he gonna not crawl because he knows how to get from point A to point B just by rolling? He did crawl.
Yeah, we keep saying the same thing. It's like she gets there, she can do it, but you can tell she's starting to get frustrated when like Hannah will run away from her, and she's like, "Wait, I want to go with her. How do I get there? I don't understand." So, yeah,
that's funny. Yeah, Weston he would only roll to see what direction he needed to go, and then go back on his back, and then push with his feet. And so he had a bald spot in the back of his head because he did a backwards scoot. I'm like,
she does that too. She does that where she like, but does bridges and then launches herself off the floor, does another bridge and launches herself. So she's doing it every way she can, except for the way that you're supposed to, quote unquote.
Lisa,
she'll get there. That's so funny.
Did you take them to Arizona last weekend?
No, we haven't taken them yet. I don't know when we'll get there, but we will get there. Yeah, it's like, you know how it goes. It's like you come up with all these things, the activities to do, and it's like, well, that seems like the right time to do that. So yeah, we're gonna get there for sure. I can't wait to go there.
Yeah,
Did you say Arizona?
Yes, I did say.
Are there bears there?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's one of those things where you drive through it in your car. You stay in your car, let the bears come up to you because that's safer.
Because that's safe.
But I think they have.
Do you feed them?
No. You keep your windows up and your doors locked.
There's a section? Is there any section where you can feed animals? Like,
there is. So
okay. I haven't been there in a long time.
It's like my favorite place to go. So in the beginning, I can't remember what the first animals are, but those are the first ones that you can feed. And then some of them, Danielle, as you go through, like you can roll down your windows. The bison will come up to your car, or like the donkeys. But yeah, when it's bears, they've got somebody out there who will like yell at you with a megaphone if you've got your window down, or you're not supposed to stop driving either. Mm-hmm. There's a viral Instagram right now of a bear at Arizona attacking a cousin of Betty, a VW Beetle, rips off the front of the car, the bumper. So you're not supposed to stop, but sometimes it's hard not to. Like there was one right in front of our car for like 5 minutes one time. We're like, well, we can't run you over. Like, what are you supposed to do? But it's a really cool spot. And then they have like a zoo area too. So once you've done the drive-through, you can go walk through the zoo and see the panthers and the otters and spiders and like a bunch of stuff. But yeah, if you come out here,
you lost me.
We'll have to take you over there. It's really fun.
I think Weston would probably.
That sounds fun. But you lost me at spiders. We can skip that one.
I'm a little nervous about Hannah there because like every dog she sees, she has to pet it. Every cat she sees, she has to pet it. Today we were at the park with Leah and like a bunch of other moms from the same school. And I saw a snake and I was like, Hannah, come look at this snake. And Hannah goes, I touch it. And I go, no. And of course there's this like other little kid there and he comes running over. He goes, that's poisonous. It has a black head. And I was like, oh my God, is it? I don't know. Kids are really smart. They know things about animals. I was like, get away from it. And it was like a baby snake. It was tiny. But I was like, it's so funny. Like, and this is something I was going to mention too, is like learning to be brave for your kids in situations that you don't necessarily want to be brave in, but you don't want them. Like I made a comment today to Hannah about, oh, do you want to go try the big slide? It's really big. And she goes, scary, really big. And I was like, oh no, it's not scary. Like you have to think about how, because they take you so literally. So, but yeah, I'm like, I'm so excited for Arizona, but I know she's going to be like, I pet it.
Especially, isn't there a section where you get to see wolves?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think she's going to love that. Yeah. I can't wait to hear the report out for that. Yeah. Big dogs.
That's cool. It sounds like a Yellowstone, but more like a zoo.
Yes.
I'll definitely have to go.
Yeah, we've also got Out of Africa, which is like similar, but it's with all safari wildlife.
Have you been there, Leah?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
not with Wes.
Verdi?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll have to put that on the list sometime.
Yeah, that one was super fun. And you can take the bus through like the safari wildlands and stuff. And the giraffe will come right up to the bus. Oh. So they give us like carrots to feed the giraffes.
Oh my gosh.
But now there's a zip line, I think, over the lion enclosure or something like that, which is a little questionable.
It's getting a little wild.
Wow.
And you can feed the lions there. What'd you say, Lisa?
Thanks. Do you think the kids need to be older to do that?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're a little too young right now, but maybe like 5, 6 would be fun.
I think maybe we should do a girls trip out there to test it out and see like what is the right age.
Yeah, they do wine safaris. So
sold. I'm in.
Oh, sign me up. I'll be there.
Why are we just now talking about this?
These kids' places have to do things to attract the parents.
Right. This is true.
So yes, love to do that, and the train. Weston's so into trains right now.
I really want to do the train.
Want to do the train down in Cottonwood.
We did a train in Scotland quite a few times. A little bit different because they're passenger, not like big trains, little trains. But Hannah loved it. She thought it was the coolest thing that you could get up and walk while the train was going. She just thought it was the coolest.
I mean, it is. It's pretty cool. I like trains. It's my favorite form of transportation if I had a choice.
Trains are fun for sure. For sure. Leah, what's going on with Wes?
He understands everything. He's not talking a lot. He doesn't have a lot of words. It was kind of crazy. Last week we bumped into a kid the exact same age at the park, and that kid was having conversations, like repeating everything that his mom was saying. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's not Wes. But he understands everything. So like he knows that he has to clean his table after he eats, and then he takes his trash to the trash can, and he takes his dishes to the dishwasher. And so that's been kind of fun. Kind of just like helping him regulate into activities of daily life as a human, right? And he's just wild. He figured out how to climb onto the windowsill and balance on like a little 2-inch wide windowsill. And I look over at him. I was in the kitchen and I looked over at him and he's like, "Hi, Mom. I'm so proud of myself." I'm like, oh my God.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. Like Weston just started doing that today. Like he's the cat. I'm like, he rolled off one time and he was like, "Oh, my wrist." He didn't say that, but he was like, "Ah." And he got up and did it again. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The life of a boy mom. But go ahead. I just needed to.
But it is though. Like it's really funny. I was talking to my mother-in-law about it last week. She's like, yeah, Olivia, my niece, she's like, she's curious, but she's just not like, she's not as, I don't know. I can't remember exactly what the word was, but she was like, she doesn't climb like Weston climbs. And I'm like, yeah, no, like we've got this ladder out in our garage, but it's folded up. So it's not set up or anything. And he has figured out how to get to the very top of the ladder while it's leaning against the wall. I'm like, okay, all right. So I swear the bruises are self-inflicted. The cuts, the wounds are all a result of him doing crazy things. He saw some kids climbing up the slide at the park the other day. So of course he had to try climbing up the slide. I'm like, dude, you're a little small, but I'll let you try anything. So he's just been wild. I mean, I think the most fun has been him assimilating into like our lives, right? Like doing chores per se. And then he's just figuring out his spatial awareness with his body and throwing it all over the place. And so
I feel that
it's fun.
It's crazy to me. We went to the park with you guys the other day. He is so fast. When he starts running, he is so fast, but he shuffles. Like it's this cute little old man shuffle. It's adorable.
Well, he is. I feel like even when we had our barbecue, like what, a month ago, And you were literally running all around our yard and house chasing him. And I think at one point he sprinted into the house and I was like, I got him. And I turned around, he was all the way on the other side of the living room. How did you do that? Well, I guess you are a runner,
He's
so makes sense.
Well, it's been fun having my watch back. It didn't work for a while, and I finally got it to like start working again. And now I'm seeing how many miles I'm doing a day, just mostly with him. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I believe it.
Yeah, he is fast. He's really fast, especially if he sees that you're chasing him. As soon as he sees that you're chasing after him, he is off the scene. I'm like, okay.
Does he think it's a game?
Oh
Like he
yeah, he
giggles and
laughs.
runs?
He thinks it's
Because that's
hilarious.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, please don't run into the street.
That's so funny. Weston's doing the like exact same things that Weston is doing, just the running and the climbing and just getting into everything, falling off things. Yeah, it's just been wild. He's wild. He likes to run zoomies in the evenings. That's why when he had this splint on, he was really frustrated because he couldn't move like he normally does. Um, and then he'll clean up his messes too. He spilled the dog water and he went in the kitchen and got a rag and went to go wipe it up. I haven't had him take his dishes to the dishwasher. That would be interesting to get him to start trying. But he needs to eat all his food first. He's so picky now. And I'm trying not to like make extra meals. I guess I'm thinking like if he doesn't eat it, then the consequences, he'll be a little hungry. It's okay. But then usually at breakfast, he will eat anything that we give him, whether it's eggs, pancakes, whatever. I know that probably sounds really bad. It's just, he's definitely been picky.
Nothing about that sounds bad. Sounds like a toddler.
I do feed him. It's just he picks what he wants to eat. And I'm like, did he get enough?
And we've started to go that way, Danielle, because what happened was we were really like, oh, we don't want Hannah to go to bed hungry. So we'd make what we were eating and she would start to eat it. And then she'd say, I want apricots. I want pretzels. I want this. And so we'd give her all these things. Then there's food wasted everywhere. And we were like, you know what? We're not doing this anymore. You're going to eat what we're going to eat. And once you finish the little portion that we give you, then you can move on to something else. But yeah, I'm with you. I wish I would have stayed that way more in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even known that book I was reading. I still haven't finished it. I need to. The Raising Mentally Strong Kids. That was like one of the things. It's like the consequences of them not eating what you're eating is they'll be a little hungry when they go to bed, but then they start to learn like, okay, well, this is what I have and this is what I'm going to eat. So I thought that was interesting. So I'm trying to stay true to that. But there has been times I made him a peanut butter sandwich just because he didn't eat lunch either. It ended up on the floor or something. So he's just throwing things. That's the other thing tonight. Well, he learned how to spit out his milk. So he was spitting it out. And then I took his milk away and he got mad and he like chucked his fork. And I'm like, great. So the tantrums are starting. And so that's been trying to navigate that has been a little hard for me. Just he's a little sassy sometimes. But yeah, just pretty wild. He's not talking a lot either. He still signs a lot. And he will say his favorite word is snack, but he goes knack, knack. And then his favorite word, my favorite word that he's saying is cheese. He goes, cheese. And so he thinks my backpack that I always carry has snacks in it, which he's not wrong. But we were waiting in the doctor's office yesterday, and he goes, knack, knack. And then he starts screaming like, cheese, like he was mad. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have cheese in my backpack, but here's some puffs. But he really wanted cheese, but I didn't have any. So that made him mad. Oh, and then one other thing that I love that he's doing, he'll do his like grumpy face and it's just like his eyebrows down like this and he'll just look at everyone and it's just really cute. So he's just really getting a personality and it's super cute. And yeah, he hates doctors. I found out he doesn't want, unless you're a cute doctor with blonde hair, he doesn't want you close to him. I found out this past week because he didn't want any male doctor getting close to him and he would just like cry. and hang on to me like to dear life. So it was hard to tell if his leg was hurt or not because he was just crying because he didn't want anyone else near him. So he does have a little bit of, I guess, a shy personality when he like doesn't know you until you can warm up. But
yeah, Wes is pretty shy too.
Yeah. Or self-aware, or not self-aware. What would be a good word? Like positive word. Shy's not a bad one. But I was deemed shy and emotional, and Weston does have really big feelings.
That's Hannah's. So. I think I told you guys, Hannah's teacher was like, be very cautious about calling them shy because, and she's saying that she's like, from personal experience, people always called me shy. And then I felt like I had to play into that. So then I became a very shy and not introverted, but shy person and kept to myself a lot. And I wish I wouldn't have done that growing up, but I felt like I was labeled that way and I kept going that way. And so that's a very interesting perspective in my eyes to be like, oh, okay, well, so when Hannah's being shy, I'm like how do I say, oh, she's being shy without saying she's being shy? Like people know, like I just need to let her be, because we're on the opposite side of the spectrum right now. She walks up to everybody and wants to talk to them and sits next to them and does it. And I'm like, I'm not going to steer her away from it. Right. Like, I don't want to be like, no, don't talk to them. They may be uncomfortable. I'm like, go do it. Let's see what happens. Let's see how they react to you. So yeah, it's interesting to see both sides.
Yeah. Speaking of interacting with strangers, I was so frustrated at the grocery store last week when some man, older, came up. Weston was fussing a little bit, nothing crazy. And he walks by and he goes, shh, quiet down.
No.
Get out of here.
I was about to chase this man out the grocery store, you guys. I was like, are you kidding me? He's 17 Seriously? Months old. Dead serious. How
old was this guy?
Unhinged. Probably late 40s, maybe early 50s. I was unhinged. I was not well.
Kids are meant to be seen, not heard. How many times have I heard older people say that? Well, that was like the thing back in the day. No, thank you.
I heard a quote before I got on a flight one time and it like totally stuck with me. And it was like, you're entitled to a kid-free life, but not a kid-free world. And I'm like, there's nothing that has ever stuck with me maybe as strongly as that, because people react when you're out in public. Or like, I just hate when like Weston's fussy and people are like, oh, poor guy. I'm like, he's fine. Like, can we not?
It makes everybody so self-conscious about having kids, and oh my gosh, they stepped out of line for 1 second because how dare they be a fussy 2-year-old or 1-year-old or whatever. Like, listen, they have to learn that stuff somehow, and like let them be. I've so like gotten to the point where I'm like, yeah, Leah, I would have been like, are you kidding me? Like, come on.
Do you think that's going to be effective? Do you think that that's really like, my 17-month-old is going to be like, oh, a stranger told me to quiet down and shushed me, I better behave?
Yeah. Oh, like sorry, I haven't tried. Yeah. I read along the same lines. And I'll have to try and see if I can find. I'm sure now that my phone's listening to me, that'll pop up. But like that, I saw on Instagram about kids that are allowed to be loud and have fun and run around and scream and be crazy, and like how well they typically grow up because they aren't always worried about what they're doing. Like they're just going to go have fun and do some adventurous, cool things that the kids who are always told to be quiet, won't have that opportunity.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear, because Weston screams his brains out just for fun and thinks it's hilarious. And right now we don't have a lot of decor hung up in the house yet. And so it echoes. And so when he hears the echo, he's like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to do it again.
Yeah. Weston will scream, Dada! in the store. And even if Ryan's not with us, he just likes to scream it as we're pushing the buggy. I'm like, whatever. As long as you're not crying, dude. That's so funny. Yeah, I can't wait till we talk about like travel and all the people, like what have people have said to us and our babies, like our I guess they're not really babies anymore, our toddlers. But Yeah, that's going to be interesting when we talk about that. All right. And then, Michaela, anything new with Tommy, your four-legged fur baby? Or Bryce?
I mean, thankfully, there's not much to report from Tommy. He, so the 2 weeks I mentioned where we were watching our friends' dogs, he was wiped out after they left. Him and one of the dogs played really hard the whole time that they were here, and it's really funny. Tommy is a really energetic, playful dog, but when there's a lot of people at our house, like when we have barbecues, he shuts down. Like the introvert in him comes out, and he just goes upstairs and lays down after a certain period of time because he just can't handle the people and the noise. It's adorable, but it was pretty surprising actually the first time that it happened. So I feel like it was kind of that same way when we were watching the two dogs. Like for the first couple days, it was a lot of fun and it was really exciting. But man, at the end of the day, every night he was ready for bed, and then when they left, he was just like a zombie for like a full day. It was super cute, but um, yeah, he's good. I don't know. Do I have any fun stories about Bryce? I feel like all the things that you guys have said about climbing on furniture and just screaming dada in the middle of the store, those are all things that Bryce might do. I just don't think he's done them lately. Yeah.
How
That's
has Tommy's seizures been? Has he had any more?
No, thankfully, knock on wood, not since he's been on his medication.
Yay.
Yeah.
Great.
So we're very diligent about giving him his medication every day, and fortunately everybody that we've had watch him since he's been put on his medication, they get it, and so they've also been really diligent about it. But yeah, you would never know.
Nice.
Bryce takes him out for like a 3-mile run in the woods almost every single morning, and he just absolutely loves it. And then he's quiet for the most part while I work during the day. And then at like 3 or 4 o'clock, he's bringing me toys and he's ready to go again. So it's been good.
Well, our last topic, what we're going to talk about today, is just kind of like, what did we do over break? Did we go on vacation? Where did we go? Or is there something that you did for yourself? Like, for example, I've been reading that Agatar series.
I've heard it's amazing.
It's so good. Okay, listen. It's A Court of Thorn and Roses. That's the first book.
I read the first one and the second one.
Oh, okay. I just finished the second one, and it was really good. And it does get spicy, but then they build on this. I just build it up. But anyways, one, I'm not really into the spicy, but I did like it. And then, and two, I'm not into like fairies and fantasy. I didn't think, but it is actually pretty interesting.
I was really surprised how much I liked it too. But I had to take a break after the second one because I read them too fast together that I was like burned out on it. I had to go back to my super spicy real people stuff.
Real people. Yeah.
Not the fairies.
Yeah, they are. They're really big books. But
spicy fairies?
Yeah, they are fairies.
We don't want to spoil it.
When you okay.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
They're not like Tinkerbell fairies, though.
Right.
They're like maybe Orlando Bloom. No, those are elves. Never mind. They do have pointy ears.
Okay, so like, okay, the only thing I can think of is only fantasy books I've read would be Twilight. So like, are we like in the way that they are vampires, the way that these are fairies? No. But they're not Tinkerbell fairies.
A lot more intense and a little bit higher reading level than Twilight, I would say. I loved Twilight.
Well, no, I'm just trying to comprehend the
the fairiness,
how the fairies get spicy.
Because they have sex.
They're not like
winged
fairies, right? They're not like.
We can't tell you that.
They do. They do have wings. Well,
not all of them.
Not all of them.
So is it like Avatar?
I would put it more Avatar than Twilight for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's love, there's war, there's like all the things.
Like special powers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. My friends had me read it. I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. But it is actually really good. I was surprised. I flew through the second book, and I'm a slow reader. So I'd say give it a try. But yeah, well, since I started with mine, I'll go ahead and finish some other things that we were doing. So we already talked about the family reunion. We did that. And then I went to Maryland / Virginia for my cousin's husband retirement from the Air Force. And that was really cool to see family. And we also saw some of our old friends in Maryland. And I will say, guys, when I was there, I was like, this kind of feels like home. I told McKella, and she's like, no. I was like, but it did. It really did feel like home. I was like, oh, I could see us moving back here next year. It's so nice, except it was 100 degrees and humid. And so my postpartum baby hair, they're not baby hairs anymore. They're all like 6 inches all over my head, were curled out along with my, yeah, that's about how long mine is.
So awful.
Your wings.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, at least they tuck down now, but like.
Yeah. Mine do too here in Montana with the dry heat, but the humidity was terrible for that. It was
Danielle,
a mess.
It's funny because I made a comment to McKella. I said, oh, do you think Danielle and Ryan will end up moving to Phoenix? And she goes, well, they're about to go on their East Coast trip. So I'm guaranteeing by the time she gets back, she's going to say, no, we're going to the East Coast again.
Yeah, so we've been looking at Maryland and North Carolina. However, I do have a trip planned the end of October to go to Phoenix and stay with my friend down there and to like meet with a realtor and see some houses and neighborhoods and go there with the perspective of possibly moving there. And I told my friend Courtney, I was like, you're just going to have to take me everywhere to win me over to like move here. And then some of the things y'all were saying, the Arizona and all those places. I'm like, okay. And the train, I'm like, all right. So some kid-friendly things.
They got a lot of good kid stuff in Phoenix. Leah could tell you more, but I know like the aquarium and the butterfly. Does the butterfly museum still exist, or did they close that?
Yeah, it's still there. And then they've got a dinosaur exhibit and
the zoo.
The zoo and zoo lights during the winter. Like there's in Phoenix metro area, there's so much stuff. And then even when you like get up to northern Arizona, there's actually a lot more than you would think, kid-friendly wise.
Okay. Well, my question for you, how to deal with the heat in the summer, because it was 90 here.
Yes, you stay inside.
You go from air conditioning to air conditioning.
Yeah, stay inside.
It's like
Instacart.
One really rough month.
I would say June to September.
Like
June
4 or 5.
Like it's one really rough month.
4 months.
It's one really rough
like,
month.
Thank you.
But see,
not helping.
See, during those rough months, though, you have a ton of friends and family up in Flagstaff who have extra room and space for you, that have kid-friendly activities in their homes.
That's when we go camping.
Yeah.
Camping.
True.
There's really no bad time in Arizona because there's always a good spot to be.
Totally.
Yeah, that makes sense. I did ask Ryan what was one of the pros, like why he wanted to move, and he's like, because we can go to German Christmas. That's on his list.
I mean, it is pretty epic.
Yeah, well, that sounds fun.
I would not have expected that to make the list. Yes, lots of cheese. The cheese balls and the cookies are worth it.
I love cheese. Okay. That's enough about me. The only other thing I did that was I did have Weston go to a friend's house for a few hours and play with her daughter, and she watched him while Ryan and I went and saw Deadpool and went to a movie. So I did a date night. I left Weston with a trusted friend, and so that's awesome. I will say I've come a long way from the first podcast. I've made friends and we hang out, and then I've made trusted friends that I'm like, yes, you can watch my son while I run and do something real quick. So that's huge. Been really cool.
That is huge.
So
I feel like that would be really fun to listen back to our first episode when we get to a year and be like, whoa, look how much has changed since then.
Yeah. So, All right. Lisa, how about you? Or does anyone else want to go first? I went out of order this time.
That's okay. Leah, you want to go? Let's go completely out of order.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Well, you kind of answered it at the beginning, but what is something like you've done over this break for you, or maybe your family did? And it doesn't have to be a vacation. Maybe you went to somewhere cool locally, a staycation.
Yeah, like I said, like I started exercising again, which was great. Really feeling a difference in my mood. What's been nice with Weston not being in school for so long, he's been quite delightful. And I think it's because he's been getting really good afternoon naps, like high quality naps at home. And so I am slightly dreading going back to school and getting our afternoon terrorist back. I'm hopeful that maybe we won't. Maybe he'll sleep well at school, but he never has. So my hopes are very low. And I just hope we don't kind of go back to those like horrible tantrums that we were having in the afternoon. So we'll see. We'll see what that adjustment is like in the next couple of weeks. But there's a indoor trampoline park here now. Also, another thing for kids that has been super fun. We've gone to that a couple times. It was really funny the first time we went. The first time he got on the trampoline, he started crying and was like holding on to me and really tight. And then we went the other day and he was running around with the big kids, just like bouncing everywhere, like having so much fun. So, that's been fun. Just trying to find these, like, especially with him not being in school, trying to find these things every day to get out of the house. 'Cause I can only see so many parks from so many different vantage points. That eventually I'm like, okay, is there another activity we can do or something like that? And there's a lot around town, but yeah, Stephen and I still have not been on a date night since Wes has been born. So we want to try to make that a priority in the next couple of months. And yeah, just like super looking forward to his season winding down. Like September will be quieter after Labor Day. October will be quieter than that. And then it's November and the holidays. But yeah.
Yes, we'll put it in the books, like write it in your calendar, and then you prepare yourself for it, and then that'd be cool. Date night.
The saying in our household is it's almost November. As soon as season starts, like the first day that season starts, we're like, okay, it's almost November. It's almost November. So it's fine.
That's awesome. Where would you go on your first date night? What would you do?
I don't know, because we have this problem with going out to eat in Flagstaff because it's so expensive, and Steven's a really, really good cook. And so it's like I'm mostly always disappointed in if we go out to a restaurant, the food that we're getting for the price point that we're paying. So I don't think we would do that. Maybe go axe throwing, because we do enjoy that. That's pretty fun.
That's fun. Yeah.
Or just like go drive out to the woods and just like sit there and talk. I'd like to go see a movie. I think that'd be fun. I haven't seen a movie in a really long time. I want to see the new Twister movie. I've heard it's pretty good.
Oh yeah. I'm sure that one actor, I can't remember his name. He's really good to look at. So.
Yep.
You know which one I'm talking about? The one from Top Gun. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways.
So yeah, I don't even know I don't know. It's a great question, Danielle.
Well, those are some good answers. So I hope that y'all do get a date night soon, and so that will be really fun. And Lisa, what about you? You've done some really cool things.
Yeah.
We've all done really cool things, but
yeah. So we went to Scotland and Italy. We went with my parents, Brandon's parents, and my brother. So we planned this a year ago because we put in for a lottery for tickets for a golf tournament. and we coincidentally won them, which is funny because we've all like applied for these in the past and none of us have ever gotten them, and then every single one of us got them this time. So we were like, this is
Whoa.
crazy. Yeah, we got super lucky and we were like, meant to be, let's go. So we were going to just go to Scotland for a week, and then we were like, you know what, let's tack on another because those flights are long. So yeah, so we did Scotland for a week, Italy for a week. The flight over is overnight for us. So Hannah did well, but there were a lot of open seats on the plane. So it was really nice because Aubrey and I were like bopping around at different seats around the plane, and Hannah was able to lay out on the seats. So she slept well. Aubrey, not so much. She, like, out of the 11-hour flight, I think she slept 4 hours, and the rest of the time she was like screaming or crying or whatever. It was a lot. And then the way back, she screamed the entire flight. So we spent a lot of time in the bathroom so that the people around us could get a break from her screaming. So I would put her on the changing table and just let her kind of like roll. She would barrel roll on the changing table. And, you know, I'd give her like a paper towel and she'd try to eat it. And it was a fun game because I'd keep taking it away and then she'd want to eat it more. So, yeah, so we spent a lot of time in the bathroom. So naturally she came back with a virus because we were in the bathroom where all the germs are, but it was still worth it. So Scotland, I was not as excited about Scotland because, you know, it's cooler there. It's not Italy, right? Like Italy, we're going to Lake Como. It's going to be beautiful. We're going to be on the water all the time. Scotland was awesome. That's my favorite golf tournament of the year, professional golf tournament of the year. So to actually go to it was like a dream. It was so, so cool. And I got to be without the kids for the entire day. Like I didn't see Aubrey that entire day, which was a little bit like, ooh, I don't like that so much, but it was, you know, it was awesome to have that day. And for my mom and Brandon's dad to step in and watch the girls that whole day was a lot. They were exhausted after that. So I get it. But yeah, so Scotland was great. And it's interesting over there. Like everybody was so friendly and so great. And Hannah, like, it was like she was a celebrity. It was funny. Like the first day we were there, a guy walked up and was like, "Look, can I give her a treat?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." Like whatever, you know. He gave her money. He gave her 10 pounds, which is like $12, whatever. And I was like, "What? You don't have to do that. Like give it back. Give him his money back. Like this is weird. Why are you doing that?" And then we went to the park like minutes later, and every single kid at the park gave her a piece of candy that they were eating. And I was like, why are they doing? What is happening? Why are they doing this? And then 2 other people gave her 5 pounds. And I was like, okay, so I guess that's a thing here. Like just build their nest egg, right? Like it was very cool. Like they were and everybody wanted to talk to her. Everybody wanted to play with her. It was really like a cool community feel. We went to a cool farm and yeah, so that was awesome. And then, like I said, when we got to Italy, it was, I mean, the most gorgeous view from our Airbnb. It was incredible. Like I could have just stayed there forever. It was really hot there. So it was nice to have the pool and that we were in the pool so much. So it was an awesome, awesome trip. Like even like I feel like so like pinky in the air, so privileged to say these things, but like last year we took Hannah to France, and I flew with her alone to France, and the flight from Phoenix to London was brutal. She screamed a lot and it was really hard, but I would do it all over again. And I managed my expectations to expect that again for this trip. And it really helps to do that because Aubrey definitely lived up to that. And I feel like because I was prepared and I was there, I was ready for it, it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. So that was good. But yeah, I definitely I needed that. I needed that refresh. It was so, so wonderful to do that. So yeah, so that's what we did. And Brandon and I got a few times that we got to get away from the girls for a little bit, and everybody chipped in and watched them while we went to grab lunch or grab a drink or, you know, just do whatever we wanted. So that was wonderful. We really enjoyed that. And then I'm really excited because next week, so for Mother's Day, Leah put me in a drawing to win like a total skincare package, and I won it. My name got pulled, and I have that next week. So that's like I think they said to plan for like a 3 to 4 hour day at the spa with them. And I get to do like all these things I would never do for myself, which I'm so excited for. I can't wait. So I'll report back next week because I think I'm doing it
so
Tuesday.
nice.
I know. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Thank you, Leah. You're amazing.
How did you do in the golf tournament?
Oh, so I didn't play. We just went and watched pros, but we did play, and it was Hannah's first time with a golf club in her hand, and it was like I have an amazing video of her and my brother trying to teach her, and he's just rolling on the floor because she does not get it. I mean, it's like he's like trying to help her, but he's also laughing hysterically because she's just like doesn't understand. But yeah, it was awesome.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
And the train in Scotland, was it well, I guess it was a train to take you to Italy. I was going to ask, did you do the Harry Potter train?
No,
That's
we didn't.
It's on my bucket list.
Do that. We did, where we stayed, we were kind of off the beaten path of where we stayed, which was so perfect because we were in this super quaint neighborhood, and every neighbor stopped to talk to us and like was like, hey, did you guys go do this? You guys should go here. You should go do that. There's an amazing park for kids. So we went to we wouldn't have known all of that without being in this neighborhood, but you had to train everywhere because my dad had a rental car, but oh my gosh, I thought my brother was going to kill him. My dad was not a good opposite side of the road driver. He was terrible. Like I literally was like, let me take care of the steering wheel and you take care of the pedals because you keep hitting that curb, Dad. Stop hitting the curb. I know it's hard to do. That would
be weird.
I've driven over there before, and I know it's an adjustment period, but Dad, you've been doing this for 7 days. It's about time to stop hitting every curb you see. So yeah, but it was pretty funny. But we went to this amazing park, but I was like, none of this would be legal in the States. So I was like, Hannah, enjoy this while you're here, because like there was like the jungle gym, like she could have fallen from like over 20 feet because it's like, it would just, we wouldn't have that kind of stuff here. So it was really kind of like, whoa, you guys trust your kids a lot.
Like the old school monkey bars that we used to have.
Yeah, everybody breaks their collarbone and like harm on. Yeah. So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
I remember thinking the same thing in Ireland when we went a couple years ago, that the parks were so cool. And
yeah, so cool.
My dad, after 5 days, no, actually it was probably closer to 7 to 10 days of driving on the opposite side, ran into a person. He was going like maybe 2 miles an hour. So I mean, it was just a little love tap.
But okay, so was the person crossing the street? Was the person on the side of the on the sidewalk? Like
there was no sidewalk, which was the first issue.
Okay.
So it's a really narrow road in Ireland. There's no sidewalk, and I think people were on both sides. Or maybe a car was coming. I can't remember, but it was a really tight space that he had to get there.
Can you imagine that person going to the pub later on and be like, this guy fucking hit me? Like, what?
And I was in the passenger seat. I was in the passenger seat doing like the butt pucker, like, oh, Dad, get over just a little bit. And yeah,
you were trying to steer the car from the passenger side.
The mirror just boop, just hit this person. Anyway, could be worse.
My dad likes to like casually slip in conversation that he was hit by a bus. He didn't tell me this until I was like 25. We were talking one day and he's like, yeah, that one time that I got hit by a bus. And I was like in a car walking. He's like, yeah, I was walking home, got hit by the bus. And then I went home and they thought that I may have had a concussion, and somehow I got to the hospital, and I'm like, oh my God, you could have died. And it was a city bus.
Jeez.
Okay. Oh, man.
Wow. Well, Michaela, what about you? Anything fun that you did for yourself or that you did as a family over this spring?
Yeah, so I mentioned that I taught a lot of workout classes. I don't know if I've actually mentioned this before. Maybe it has been mentioned, but I teach Zumba. And in addition to teaching my regular Zumba class, I was subbing for other Zumba classes and for bar. So I think I taught 7 or 8 classes in the span of 2 weeks, which was a lot for me. But I loved it because it was a mix of Zumba and bar, and I don't teach bar very often anymore. And so it's fun once you kind of get into the groove of teaching a different type of class. And with bar, there's so many, to me, it's fun. So many fun things that you can do. It's like a playground to me. So I really enjoyed that, as busy as it was. And I mentioned that we have spent a lot of time out in the woods, whether it was just going for a drive or both of my parents live out in the woods. And so we, on a whim one night, just drove out to my mom's house, didn't tell her we were going to go, and just showed up. She said, "Oh, we were just about to leave and go to the neighbor's house." I said, "If you still want to go to the neighbor's house, you can, but I came out here to sit on your patio." So, yeah, just watching storms roll by, which was really nice. But speaking of books, I have been reading a book that I don't think anybody else on this call would be excited about. It's called, Lisa already knows. It's called
Nope.
The King of Hearts. And it's all about the history of open heart surgery. So it's like the pioneer physicians of open heart surgery. It's really fascinating.
I'm sorry, I already fell asleep. What? Just kidding.
You lost me at history. Yeah, I think it's really interesting.
For real.
Yeah. Oh, it's most interesting.
It's the most interesting. Thing you read.
So what's really cool about it to me? All right, here comes my nerd. You guys ready?
Yes.
My current job is to teach physicians and sales reps how to use our medical devices that are not open heart surgery based, so they're catheter based, to close holes in your heart. And this book that I'm reading, King of Hearts, talking about the history of actually learning how to do open heart surgery, was really focused on closing holes in the heart. And this was in like the 50s. So in the grand scheme of things, it really wasn't that long ago that they figured out how to safely and effectively do open heart surgery. And now to know that today I am somehow capable of teaching people how to use a device that does not require open heart surgery, it's just really fascinating to me. So I'm a nerd.
Do you get paid to read this? Because it sounds like you should clock in for that.
But that is awesome.
I'm kidding.
Michaela. Maybe you'll be in a history book.
I doubt it.
You're making history.
Maybe that can be.
So it's not open heart surgery by any means, but I had the thought today when I was feeding Weston a banana. Who thought to peel a banana and find a fruit inside? It's kind of like open heart surgery.
I think about that about so many things. Who was the first person to try that? Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true. Well, like how they figured out how to like bake or make things.
My theory on the banana
like wheat would make bread.
My theory on the banana is they saw a gorilla eating it and they were like, look at that mushy stuff inside. Let's try.
Do
eat it with the peel
bananas?
They do.
No, what I'm saying is they do. They do, but if you took a bite of it with the peel on it and then the stuff on the inside oozed into your mouth and you're like, ooh, that's the good part. I'm going to find a way to get this peel off.
Just like edamame, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
So bananas don't peel themselves. Let me start over. Gorillas.
Really? Where's this going?
That's going to be next. That's going to be the next modification for bananas, is self-peeling bananas. Anyway, that's what I'm going to be in history books for. I'm the first person to say it.
Or born without peels.
Your witness. Yeah. That'd probably be more efficient.
Grown
anyway, gorillas.
Peels, not born. Bananas are not born.
Yeah,
gorillas.
I'm not sure where this is going. Okay, you've lost me.
Yeah. Anyway, the book about
gorillas.
Gorillas. They peel bananas, but they peel them from the opposite way that humans do. So they peel them
Hannah's
from like
taught
the
that
little
at
short nub.
school.
It's so much
Yeah, Hannah's
easier. You
school
just pinch
teaches it that
and
way too.
and it falls apart.
It's
Versus
way
trying to rip it
easier.
from the stem, and it, you know, sometimes it
Yep.
mashes the banana or it doesn't rip properly. Next time you eat a banana, Leah, try just
Yep.
you just like
It's
pinch the little
awesome.
black spot. Yeah, it's crazy. Did you also
Right,
know that
well, I will
bananas are like thirds? The circle is made up of
I
thirds.
didn't know that.
So if you can like
Yeah.
push your finger in the middle of
Put your finger in.
and it splits into 3
Yeah.
even parts.
That's a baby-led
I did
weaning
that.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a baby-led weaning thing too. They teach that. You put your finger in and then give them the slice that it comes out in.
There you go.
I just break
Mind
it up.
blown.
Facts by
But-
McKella.
I will report
I've
back
been reading a
tomorrow
lot,
because
too.
Wesson will have a banana tomorrow.
Yay. I've been reading a lot too, but lots of steamy stuff. I think it was Nina gave the suggestion for this one author, Colleen Hoover. And so I'm reading one of hers, but it's very much like Nina's novel. There's like trauma in it. And I'm like, I just need fluffy beach reads. I do not need trauma. So I think
Which one
this
is
might
that
be
one?
that I'm reading.
Mm-hmm.
I never know the titles of the books I'm reading. Let's see. It is called It Starts With Us.
That's
Okay. That's the one that Blake Lively's going to play
Yeah,
in.
the movie that they're making.
Oh,
Or is
That
this
movie.
about to
It's
come out?
going to be a movie, yeah.
oh yeah,
is that right?
yeah? She's on her
Oh.
press tour for it right now.
Oh,
So if you just need steamy, don't read Verity by her. That's the only one that I think is a
I
little
read
different.
that.
I read it when I was pregnant. I'm like,
Nope.
oh, no.
No, I would have stopped.
So I like I like a psycho
Ooh,
thriller.
I like
though,
a
but
good
it's-
That
psycho
was a
thriller. Verity's a
psych-
good one.
That was psycho. Yes. Oh,
Yeah, it's a little, yeah.
it
Okay.
haunted
Kinda
me.
crazy.
Haunted me for a while. This was really fun, you guys.
Yes.
Mhm.
I haven't laughed like
Yes.
this in a long time.
I know.
I appreciate you
Same.
all.
Aw, we appreciate you.
No,
And I appreciate you guys too. And thanks for listening and letting me share.
always.
Always letting me share each week everything that's going on in our lives. So that's awesome.
That's why
We're
we
here
do
for the
this.
good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yep.
Yep, for sure.
And that wraps up another episode of Mom Jeans, trying to fit into motherhood. Thank you again so much for listening to us. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please consider giving us 5 stars so other mothers out there like you can find us and listen. If you would like, you could follow us on any of our socials at Mom Jeans the podcast. If you have questions, would like to send us your birth story, or give us suggestions or things that you would like to hear, please email us at hello@momjeansthepodcast.com. See you next week.